I might have to let these two out now. They're doing my head in. This is not doing anything for my fucking karma, this.
Sometimes when I'm in the house and I'm doing those videos, and like with the old dog Fergie, she would just sit there and whatever. But if I try and do anything in the house, I can't, because Eric's just either growling at me
Just
or
like this.
I'm trying to get involved.
Fucking nightmare.
Do you want to try an intro with them? Or
I'm just wondering whether I can. I bloody gave them a couple of bones last night as well, and they've already eaten them. So I should have saved them for today, shouldn't I? I'm gonna have to kick them out.
Just pat out an hour of this; it'll probably do better than our podcast.
Is it rolling, Ben, now? Fuck's sake. He's like, honestly. This is an absolute fucking nightmare, isn't it? No, he can jump over the wall at the back, so they can't get out of this one here.
Oh, okay.
But I think I mentioned it previously, where you turn your back for a minute and he's on the top diving board. Like, he's got to be on him all the time. He's just
Well, he was out on the wall at yours place, wasn't he?
yeah. He's just a rogue. Like, a really nice dog, but absolute lunatic.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks, mate. Yeah, like we've talked about, I've been doing some of that Harrier stuff, getting a bit more involved. So I run the social media now for Harrier Trail Running, and I'm now the manager for the Harrier Pro Trail team.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm living out my failures through them. You know, like when I'm doing the football coaching with the kids.
You're
I'm turning into one of them.
Alex Ferguson of Harriers, then, yeah?
Yeah. It's only a small team at the moment, but it's a good little project I've been doing there, yeah.
You made any big signings? I've not seen anything on Sky Sports News announced.
And then, no, so we've got Sam Skinner, we've got Sana Duffy, who's big on the Welsh scene.
Yeah.
Those two are great, and a lad I've got to know through Centurion, Callum Pritchard, which might not be on everyone's radar, but he's been doing really well in the Centurion races. So he's like a fast trail runner, like an up and coming guy. So yeah, it's just one of those interesting projects where, yeah, I'm just one of the old guys now.
Happens to us all, mate.
I took him to Snowdonia, and it's like, oh, my job isn't to be like the athlete or the runner here, it's just to organise people.
Herding sheep, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's been fun, mate. Bit different to normal coaching. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, busy with work as always, but I've bought a new van, as some people might have seen on social media.
Yeah.
It's bloody massive. Like, honestly, it scares me to drive it. In fact, I was planning to stay here at Chris's last night on the drive, and I couldn't get it on the drive. Like, not because I'm a shit driver, well, probably that as well, but just because it was too tight, like the angle around the back. So I ended up driving up to Horseshoe Pass, which is...
that's where I would have sent you there, because you get a nice sunset, sunrise.
Amazing place. Amazing. And I wasn't sure at first if like you two had stitched me up and it was some sort of dogging area or like the hotspot, you know, because there's a few car engines running late last night, and I did worry a little bit, but yeah, I just embraced it, mate. I just left the
My view is if it's vans and stuff parked up, it's probably not dogging, is it? The dog was just like the cars.
Yeah, that's true. And usually you get flashed pretty early on, and nobody flashed me, so yeah, probably worried about the actual dogs as well, like getting in the way. But no, nice to wake up to a good view. So yeah, just been getting used to the new van, getting used to driving it.
It's got B-Day in it and everything.
It's good. Yeah.
Was that the shower I used?
That's the shower, that's the shower I used. You're kissing in the sink as well. I left it unlocked outside Chris's house today, and before Gary came in the house, he went into the van, did a bit of filming.
Yeah.
So I've not been back in since. He's probably left me a few surprises in there, I'm sure.
No, it's great, mate. Yeah.
So yeah, lots going on. Lots to get excited about. And also, we're back on ChatGBT today for this week's episode. So welcome to the RUNcensored podcast with me, Ben Banter, and Gary House. We're here to answer all your trail running questions. And Ben, you are in charge again today, mate. Chris has left us. He's back at Clarkson's farm. So you're the man with the questions.
I think Ben might have got rid of Chris.
I think so, yeah.
Without us knowing.
Have you actually seen him?
I've not.
I haven't seen him for a while.
There is a patch of like freshly dug up soil in the back garden, so I don't know if Hannah's put an insurance claim in. And
Yeah, Yeah, well, that's
Nobody's
true. Yeah,
reported it.
Hannah didn't look too phased. That's
She wasn't too worried,
Chris's
was she?
wife.
So I can show you. We do have a pre-recorded message from producer Chris.
Right, let's get it on.
So play it for you.
Hi Ben and Gary, it's Chris, your producer. Sorry I can't be there today for the video shoot, but Mr. Clarkson's called and his sheep have had some babies, so I've got to head down to the Cotswolds and film them, but I'm leaving you in the very capable hands of my Ben, who I'm sure will do a great job. Although I hear that Ben Moundsey's dogs have just weed on Hannah's race backpack, so it sounds like it's all going great as normal. See you next week.
That's fake. He's just driving around Llandegg doing that.
Isn't it? Oh, it was a bit embarrassing this morning. I think Pete did actually wee a little bit on Hannah's race pack. That's the cringe thing when you bring your dogs into somebody else's house. It's like always that fear factor I've got. I was pretty nervy this morning bringing him in because I just can't trust Pete. Like,
Yeah.
he's a nightmare.
Pete's
Absolute
the one.
nightmare. Yeah, he's the one. Luna's fine, but yeah, he's a bit.
You always have
So
to
I'm
check,
sorry,
don't
Hannah.
you? Are they either got dogs or are they a dog lover? Then you're kind of all right.
Yeah, thankfully I know they've both had dogs before, so I think I'm okay.
All right, so Chris is off again, is he? Well, that's all right, Ben. We
In Ben
appreciate
we
it, mate.
trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Shall
Let's
we crack on?
then. Yeah, I will say people have been enjoying the ChatGBT, so yeah, we're trying to do more of these, aren't we? Get
Been
the
some good questions, haven't there?
Yeah, and some shit ones. they don't see the light of day.
Okay, let's kick it off. So, first question. Are RUNfluencers who glory their lack of preparation endangering beginner ultra competitors?
So are RUNfluencers endangering beginners with their lack of preparation? Yeah. Want to take this one, Gary?
Yeah, I'll dive in because that's one I did have a quick look and I joked around basically saying, like, endangered is a bit extreme because I get where sometimes I get these questions myself on Instagram and I don't know if it's whether they're trying to get me to poke at these RUNfluencers or what, but from my point of view, I was the most unprepared I've probably ever been when I did my first ultra, and it just that's just the way most people are. There was no Instagram and stuff back then, so I think most people are unprepared when they go into their first ultra. That's normal. Whether people are glorifying the fact that they are unprepared and stuff, I don't know. Does it even matter? Because nothing bad is going to happen, really. You'll just DNF, at worst case, is my point. What I don't like is, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when some influencers try and make more of what they're actually doing, yeah, compared to a lot of runners that are just doing this week in, week out, I think. Yeah.
What you mean, doing it for the wrong reasons, or like?
Sometimes, again, I'm not really across. I don't know what a runfluencer. If you ask me to name 3 or 4 influencers, I wouldn't be able to because either there's me or versions of me, I guess, and then there's people that I enjoy, like we've talked about before. The rest I don't even see, to be honest. So apart from the really big ones that come along, like out of Made in Chelsea and stuff. But I'm just not interested, so I don't see their stuff.
No, I don't follow them. Do you think they enjoy it, or do you think they're just doing it to?
They enjoy the attention.
Yeah, the limelight.
That's why they're like, come on, let's like that Spencer Matthews. Yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I actually find his wife very funny. That kind of thing. Yeah. So I don't know how he's managed that. But they're on Made in Chelsea. So they're obviously there for attention, yeah, which is fine. And then, so they go out of one thing, and then, all these, this born again health drive, and they're doing crazy challenges. In the running ultra world, they're not actually that crazy.
No, they're not.
They've just got a lot of time on their hands and cash to pump into it.
I think that really hit home for me and I did painfully listen to the Killian Jornet interview that Spencer Matthews did with, I don't know the name of the other guy. But Spencer Matthews just kind of slipped into talking about himself and his own challenges, and as if Killian's going to be impressed by what he's done. Like he was saying it as if like, when I did a 100-miler, I was like seeing crazy visions and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me, because I don't think Spencer Matthews realises that I think he thinks he's the only person who's ever run 100 miles, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and I think he's a bit blinkered.
He did that 24-hour thing. It's like no big distance. Like
No.
it's gonna. Don't get me wrong. It's impressive because he's not really he's not an ultra runner in terms of the sport, right? But you don't have to go. You don't have to make a big drama out of it all.
No.
I mean, they do.
Yeah,
Because they've got their supplement brand or whatever brands off the back of it all. Yeah, so you just have to keep that train rolling in terms of challenge, because that's obviously what brings attention in.
Yeah.
I know we've gone slightly off track, but yeah, there's people out running ultras every weekend. There's people training with jobs every day. Yeah, there's not everyone has got time on their hands to take a month out and go off to some country and run every step of it.
Be great to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I could name 100 people that would be more than capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And would have a great time. Yeah, so it doesn't impress me, but I'm not bothered by it either.
No,
yeah, I'm too old in the sport to I much rather admit like I'm in the kind of depths of looking at 6-day ultras or looking what like my friend Dan Lawson's up to in terms of his challenges and stuff. Or on the other side of it, I'm looking at like some of my beginner runners pushing themselves and things. There's so much out there that you can be impressed by. Yeah, they don't impress me much.
And going back to that question about the lack of preparation, like, do you think when you do your first ultra, you're never going to be really prepared? You sort of have to learn on the job almost, don't you?
It's not like a marathon where, like, if someone gives me a 10k and a half time and a bit of their training from the last 6 weeks, I can probably predict how it's going to go. With an ultra marathon, you can get away with walking most of it, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
For most of the cut-offs in the UK, that is. So that's the thing, right? I used to make this joke all the time. It used to be that you'd go into an office on a Monday morning, tell people I've ran a marathon, and everyone would be impressed, yeah? But now it's more, you need to go into the office on a Monday morning. If you tell everyone you ran a marathon, the first question they get asked is, what time did you run in?
Yeah.
Whereas if you walk into the office and say, I ran 50 miles at the weekend, everyone's impressed. No one asks the fact that it took you 20 hours or something. It doesn't matter.
Everyone's wowed by the
and I'm not trying to belittle the distance of 50 miles, but that is like, I know from experience, my first one was 56 miles or something. I death marched probably 20 miles of that.
Yeah.
But the impressive thing was that I did 56 miles, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the key
Yeah,
figure.
no one cares that I'd ran later on in running, I managed to run like 2:44 marathon. No one ever asks about marathon times.
No.
And not that it matters, but yeah, it's like, how far did you run or whatever?
Once you go above marathon distance, you don't have to put a number on it, do you? It's just, you've done an ultra. It's the mileage that speaks for itself.
And it is impressive, but again, there's people out there doing it every weekend.
Just going back to that point you made about going into the office and people being wowed in different ways by different distances.
I bet it's fun in your office.
Oh, But I'm good friends with a guy called Andy Douglas. I don't know if you know him. He's one of the best runners to ever come out of like Great Britain. He's been in the GB team for the last like sort of 10 years. But I remember him saying that when he worked in the office, he'd go in and if he'd done a park run at the weekend and he'd won, they'd all be like, wow, amazing Andy, like I was so impressed. And then he'd go to the World Champs, come 6th in the world.
GB Fest or
and they'd be like, oh, we didn't do as well this week, did you, Andy? And he's like, geez, what can I do here?
Yeah.
He's lost on these guys, you know.
Yeah. Sounds like my mum, that.
Yeah. So yeah, people are impressed in different ways out there.
Yeah, and I think it's good. So again, like all these call them RUNfluencers, I think what people start seeing now, and this is just from feedback, and again it links back to sometimes people are entering races or doing challenges just for the sake of content.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
Doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's not going to help you when you're deep into an ultra marathon or deep into a marathon even or whatever. Yeah, it's just not. So if you DNF or you have a shit race off the back of it, it's almost like a good thing. Like they can dramatise it all. It's like you can't just run.
Well, they can get 10 posts out.
How many times do you see? I don't see it really. From 10k to 100 miles, absolutely nailed that race at the weekend. Did my absolute best. You just don't see it, do you?
No, there's always something.
You have those conversations with people that aren't posting on Instagram and stuff, but you never see anyone say, that race couldn't have gone any better. And
No.
I finished
It's
12th.
it's a list of excuses, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it in the past before, but some people take it to the
Yeah,
extreme.
but you're not doing a 10-part series on your fucking
On a
shit
DNF.
race.
Yeah, exactly. There's 10 posts in a DNF these days, isn't there?
Exactly.
We've talked about that before. It's one of your pet hates, isn't it?
I can't.
I love sending you those posts.
yeah. Then it's like a snowball, isn't it? Now, like, because you've sent it me, and then I'll have a look, and then it's like, then you'll see another one and another one. It's just like
You go down that rabbit hole and they just get hit
and
with
it's
the
a good
algorithm.
and like on TikTok and Instagram, everyone needs a hook. So it's like, oh, I just had the worst race ever. So people see you watch, and it's like, oh, I just fucking didn't train basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was unprepared.
yeah.
Ben, we should probably move on to the next question.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Next question. How many miles should I get out of a pair of running shoes?
Oh, they're all classic.
Did you ever see that video I did years ago?
No, I don't think I saw that.
This is before anyone really followed me, and I was just making videos, and I would answer people's questions coming in like this, I guess.
Yeah.
And I made a quick video on. I think it was born out of like the Strava advice started giving you and stuff, and it was just when should you change your running shoes, and it was just when they're fucked, and I said when they're fucked in different ways about 10 times, and I was banging on the wall going when they're fucked, because that's
It's true though, isn't it? I mean,
it is basically
don't you?
true.
I think the important thing here is that all running shoes are made differently out there. So when you think about, say, and you'll remember these, Gary, because you're old enough to remember these and you've been running long enough to remember these, but the Nike released the Mayfly, which was the first racing flat, really, that was super minimal. Yeah. And you was only supposed to get like 40 miles out of it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, just over marathon distance. And then you were supposed to throw it. And that was about, 2008, 9, 10, I think, just off the top of my head. I mean, now we're on the super shoes and this new Adidas one that's 400 odd quid. That's supposed to last 40 miles, but it's significantly more expensive than the Mayfly. So I think if you're thinking about something for pure racing effort, especially on the road, you're not going to get many miles out of it.
Well,
but
that's
then
it.
A daily trainer.
My advice would change now a little bit, because when I made that video, you'll know this as well. There was obviously, there was a definite shift. Running shoes to me and road shoes, when I got into running, it was all to keep people running. It was all structured this and corrective that and that kind of stuff. And it was, how can we, at least tell people that you're going to avoid injuries with this shoe and stuff. And yeah, they would last until they were fucked. Whereas when there's a shift to performance, like when the carbons come in and all this kind of stuff, they're gonna deteriorate in different ways at different speeds depending on how you use them. Yeah. So yeah, it's almost like now, like again, the answer to that question would be, what shoe are you talking about?
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. It isn't, because sometimes, like you said, a shoe could be fucked in the upper, and the upper is irreparable, or it could be the outsole and the lugs are falling off, or it might be the midsole has just lost all its spring and kind of responsiveness. I mean, actually, Innovate had quite a good thing where they put a lot of the cushioning in the midsoles. They've got, I can't remember the exact name for them, but you can buy them now separately to the shoe. So once you start to lose that cushioning and responsiveness, you can switch out your insole.
They got those boomerangs.
Yeah, boomerang. That's it. Boomerang footbed. Yeah, that's what. I couldn't think of the name then. Yeah, and it's really nice. It's like it's
checking
very
the
cushioned.
post. Innovate. Thank you.
Yeah, Adrian knows is a bit more kit, I think, for these name drops.
Yeah, and I don't know that on that point. Shoes through the years, what I used to hate is you'd get a great shoe and a shit insole. Yeah, it's like an afterthought, like a piece of paper. Salomon used to be twats for it, and it's like I used to love some of the Salomon shoes, and then literally and I'd have to run with them with no inner sole. Yeah, and because I don't get blisters, I could get away with it, but I could recommend a shoe to people, and like, well, the insole's coming out or whatever. I'm like,
or they've not glued it in. If they don't glue it in and it gets wet, then it just it absolutely
it's like it's just mental to me. And this is when you only pay. Actually, you're paying 100. When they're going above the £100 mark. Yeah. I'm like, I'm paying £100 for this shoe, and the bloody insole doesn't even.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I mean, Normal don't actually put any insoles in theirs. They either it's just stitched.
Is that right? So, Yeah.
So it's really good. There's no slippage then, because once it deforms inside and it starts to crumple, then that's when you start getting blisters and problems. And if you're mid-race, it's a nightmare.
So how long should they last? I think it depends on the shoe. I think when it's a performance shoe, unfortunately, they're gonna
more expensive, less miles. Isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. A bit like your van.
yeah, it's exactly like my van. But I've had over 1,000 miles out of some of my shoes, and like you said, it just depends on the shoe, how you use it, and I suppose you've just got to keep checking it. And I think you know when it's fucked.
What do you do with and if people are like, I always recommend my shoes just get downgraded as well. So I've got a Hoka Rocket, whatever they're called. Yeah,
that's the
I quite like the original ones of those. Yeah. And again, I haven't had that many pair of carbons, but like round here...
It's like a pub shoe now.
Yeah, well, they get downgraded. You could still go on an easy run on them, to be honest. But they're not like a Alpha Fly, Vaporfly level of carbon shoe, are they? No. Let's be honest. But they stay kind of structurally sound. They're just not as responsive. But yeah, if I was just going to run the dog out, I'll still use them. Yeah. And then like trail shoes, like I'm mowing the lawn in a pair of S-Labs that have got no laces in and stuff.
So what's the level then? You've got like race performance, then training, then dog walking, then mowing the lawn.
Then mowing the lawn.
Is there anything below that? I mean, I've got a shoe graveyard. But
date night.
So when you're going out with Charles on a Thursday night to watch something at the cinemas and you're wearing a pair of Alpha Fly, the originals, you know that it's coming to the end of its life.
I wish Alpha Flies were around when I was 20 years ago. I'd have got in more clubs.
You'd be on
about 2 inches taller.
You're on the Mayfly still for the day.
How tall are you? 5'10", love. In my Alpha Flies.
Boost you up a few inches. I think we've answered that and more. Ben, what's the next question?
Okay. I can usually wear my kit a few times without washing, but my wife thinks it's I'll start this again.
Come on, Ben.
There. I can usually wear my kit a few times without washing it, but my wife thinks I'm a scruffy bastard. How many runs do you usually get out of your kit before it goes in the wash?
I like this question. This could be me writing this question, because I'm going to start with this one, Gary, because I do tend to get, depending on the type of clothing and what I wear, quite a few wears out of it. So after I've done a first run, unless I've gone out and I'm absolutely sweating or I'm soaked to the bone, I usually just throw the kit that I've just used on the radiator. I'm only running like sort of 10k maybe on most days. So I do a sniff test, and if it smells all right, I just chuck it on the radiator. And I'll sometimes get at least 3 runs out of a pair of shorts, maybe 2 out of a top, depends. Socks, maybe a couple. I mean, call me a scruffy bastard if you want, but I think...
So what do you sniff then? Pits and Gooch?
Yeah, pretty much. And an all-round smell. And then I go quite intense on armpits and, Gooch.
They're the only ones that matter.
Yeah, they are. Definitely. And once they start walking by themselves, then you know they're ready for the wash.
Yeah. Do you have I have a few favourite bits that I like to run in. So if I've done a run and it's one of my favourites, or it's a pair of shorts that I particularly like running in, that's definitely got having a sniff test. And it's if I'm not,
oh, definitely.
If I'm not, yeah, and then I'll just chuck it on the bathroom radiator.
Yes, bathroom radiator.
Yeah, and then it's like good as new.
I've also, I mean, I take stuff out of either the wardrobe or we've got this, the beds where you put stuff underneath. Is it an ottoman? I think it's an ottoman, isn't it? Where you lift it up and you.
I don't know.
I don't know the technical term. I've probably got that way wrong, but I've got all my running kit under the bed, so that's where it starts life after it's been washed, and then it ends up on the radiator. But sometimes it might end up on like a chest of drawers, and that's like an in between. It's not quite ready for the wash, but it's not going back in the cupboard. And Kirsty goes mad with me because like it just piles up, and I just throw it on there.
Some things. Like, we're probably going to get some heat for this, but some things as a man, I can't change, yeah? So I will chuck my running clothes on the radiator in the bathroom, which doesn't look great, or sometimes it ends up on the floor, right? But, I've lived with Charlotte for 15 years or something.
She's got to accept this, hasn't she?
Yeah. So it's not like I'm going out to purposely piss people off and piss my wife off. It's just...
That's who you are, mate.
Things, yeah.
It's what you signed up for, I'm afraid. Sorry, Charles.
Yeah, and then like rules start changing. Like I get asked to pick up the shower mat and hang it up now. Yeah, I'm 15 years in.
It's the same for me with the toilet seat. I don't know if it needs to be up, down. What I've lost track now. So
yeah,
I just make it. I do it different every time I go in now. I think that freaks Kirsty out even more.
I tell you what, I don't know if you're as into it as me, but I'm in I do some racing on Zwift and a Zwift team on the bike.
I've tried it before in the past, yeah.
But I've got loads of running kit, yeah, and I either donate stuff or go get rid quite regularly, to be honest. But cycling kit, I've only got a few pairs of bib shorts.
Yeah,
one of them is from when I did triathlon.
Has it not been washed since?
And I think I was like 25, 26. I'm 41
now. Is it still
now.
on the bathroom radiator?
Well, that's what I mean. So they will do. Sometimes those bib shorts will do a full week of Zwift.
And you do sweat on Zwift as well.
Well, yeah, I'm not doing a Gooch test on that. Sniff on that.
It's beyond a Gooch test, mate.
I'm going from the bathroom into the garage, back into the bathroom in them.
Yeah.
So I'm just helping the environment, basically.
Exactly. Doing that a bit for the green runners there, aren't we?
Plus, like, sometimes I don't think I smell.
No, I don't
Do
either.
you?
No,
Like
I'm the same.
Some people.
You told me you don't sweat either. Is that right?
Yeah, Prince Andrew. Not in Pizza Express. Not going down there.
We better move on, haven't we?
Yeah. What was the question?
I've totally lost it now.
Yeah, I think I do sweat, but I don't think I particularly smell bad.
No.
Yeah. Obviously, at some point you do. Yeah.
I'm the same, unless it's only me who can't smell me, if you know what I mean. Somebody tell me if I do.
People might tell me I'm wrong, yeah. But,
I'm sure somebody will tell us.
But yeah, I mean, like, you're similar to me, I think. A lot of the time I'm running alone, training alone. Yeah, I just wear what I want, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah.
So no, in answer to the question, you're not a scruffy bastard in our eyes anyway.
No.
There's always more than one
You're just doing your bit for the environment.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You
can tell that. Feed that back to your wife. Tell her that's what Gary said.
Or husband, Ben.
We're inclusive here. Okay, I'm running my next... Start again on this one as well. I'm running my first ultra next month. It's 100k. Are there any essential items or pieces of kit that you recommend that aren't already on the mandatory kit list?
It's quite a good question. I like that.
Yeah. Just protect yourself against chafing. So a good...
Did you do that before?
I would, especially 100k. You're going to be out for a while, so I would lube up to the max.
Nipples, pits.
Well, I never struggle with problem with nipples, but I've got Action Man nipples. They're just little things. So, but I would in a race, I will always tape my nipples.
Yeah.
So that's tape, not lube, and I lube basically everything between the hips and the knee.
Wow. Do you just get
a little bit, yeah. So a nice little plug for that. Like you might use different stuff, but I like Life Jacket. They do like it's like a soap bar kind of shape, yeah. And as long as it's not -10 conditions, if you hold it in your hand for a minute, it lubes up.
I think you need to watch this episode.
You can get
Gary's just describing the action that involved.
So don't share your bar, but you can get in all in the nooks and crannies that you need to. And
is it like reproofing a jacket? You know, like a waterproof jacket?
Pretty similar.
Fjallraven have got like almost like a bar of soap, and
exactly.
You can rub it in and impregnate the fabric, is what they say.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and I didn't always used to do that. I used to just get a bit of Vaseline or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get some funny looks just driving, like, you know, when someone gets in your car and there's just a big thumbprint in the Vaseline in the side door.
You just slip off the seat.
Yeah.
Do you leave a big print on the seat as well, like when Charles gets in?
Well, funny enough, I remember... He won't listen to this, but when I used to play Sunday League when I was younger, and we turned up to one of the matches, and my friend, let's call him Let's call him Mike because that's what he's called. Couldn't think of an alternative. In the side of his door was a big tub of Vaseline with a big imprint. And, so he had been having fun that night.
Brilliant. Do you ever vaz your feet as well? Chafage. I used to.
Yeah, not when I'm running.
No, I had a lot of problems with it. I had real problems with blisters. I still do on the back of my heel pad. So I used to vaz up especially when it was like hot as well, just so you've got a bit of like movement and stop. Yeah, otherwise that friction without it just
can
do some damage.
That's about it. Other bits of kit. Well, I'm a big fan of a good waistband. I wear a naked waist belt. There's other ones, but they work for me because you can have my pole. On runs around here, I can go 4 or 5 hours and not use a pack because it's.
Oh really? Just put it on.
You can stick 1,000 mils in it if you want. I usually take 500 mils, a couple of gels.
So you're carrying fluid and like gels and any like bars and things on the front. And
if I was in like 100k race, if it's their first ultra, they're going to be out for a while. So there's you got your pack obviously, but I quite like having the waist belt just for ease of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a buff is a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you can obviously keep your neck warm, keep your ears warm. I don't like having wind in, but also if it's hot, it's good for sweat. So a buff.
Another one, and both myself and Rich Gill use this. I don't do much ultra running, but you never know when you might need it. But
long lens.
Could be anything. There's baby wipes and a doggy bag, or doggy bags, should I say, just in case you need to go out in the wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not picking everything up. I'll do it somewhere discreet, and then it's the
not
actual
just a
baby wipes. I'm putting the baby wipes in the bag and then disposing of them. But you never know, like, especially on an ultra. Yeah, and it's nice to just like sometimes I would imagine when you're doing an ultra, just to keep yourself fresh, just generally, like if you need to wipe your face or your hands or whatever, it's quite good to have
tell you what is a good tip, not for 100k I imagine, but if you're going to be out, I'm talking 20 hours plus, 24 hours. I always like have a little travel toothbrush and toothpaste, freshening up your mouth.
I know Courtney DeWalters swears by us, doesn't she?
Does she? Yeah. So I remember the first, like, we've talked about this before, I used to do those 24-hour runs, and I was really struggling getting stuff down, and knowing what I know now, like that flavour fatigue of gels and stuff, but brushing my teeth, you're like a new man. Yeah, we've all been there, like when you've had an afters at a party or something when you're younger, and it's like, the moment you brush your teeth, it's like, wow,
it's like a new night, isn't it?
Go again now.
Fresh.
If I want.
Yeah. It's a good tip.
Yeah. What we covered there. I know you're not into the 100Ks that much. Don't ask Ben to meet you somewhere with a bag of stuff anyway, because you'll end up with
the Banter briefcase.
Just a tonic water.
There's all sorts in the Banter briefcase. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, for me, it's a bit different doing the shorter stuff. So I'm just carrying bare minimum, really, because you can survive, can't you? But yeah, I know there's a lot more to think about.
Little battery pack for your phones, for your selfies.
Yeah, exactly. If you're creating the content, if you're a RUNfluencer, yeah. No, I think there's some good tips there. That's a good question. What we got next, Ben?
My mum and dad went to Real Comedy Club and said they saw Gary doing stand-up. Has Gary ever done stand-up before, or are my mum and dad both talking shit?
I love these questions. Well, Gary, that one's for you, I think, mate.
Funny enough, I've done 10 minutes of stand-up in a pub once. That's about as far as I got, yeah.
Was that the start and the end of the career?
Yeah,
I think you'd be quite good at stand-up.
I don't know. I did this. I went through... Do you know what? In my teenage years, like all joking aside, like I would fall asleep listening to stand-up tapes, literally cassette tapes. Yeah. I was just obsessed with stand-up and different comedians. Like Eddie Izzard and Jack D and all those that kind of era.
I love Kevin Bridges as well. I know he's a bit more recent.
I love Kevin Bridges. And I still love stand-up. And I did go into a little bit of a black hole of wanting to do it at some point, but also basically too scared to do it, because I'd learned enough about stand-up to know that you just have to take so much. You're gonna die on your ass so much, and it is such a skill to be a good stand-up. I think there's a big difference to being a funny guy in a pub to doing actual stand-up.
That's a real skill, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't actually think there's that many good stand-ups around in the UK, to be honest. There's lots of funny people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so the answer is I was pretty drunk once, and this guy, there was someone doing stand-up in a pub, and I shouldn't have been doing this, but I was essentially heckling, and the heckling was getting more of a laugh than the thing, and I ended up doing 10 minutes drunk.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was pretty young then.
Did you have anything like in your locker, as in like you practiced a few, or were you just going off the
No,
cuff?
they were just story-based kind of. I don't know if I'd be too great at writing. That's what I don't know if I'd be good at, writing an hour set and remembering it.
Yeah. It's
You know
a real
what? My
skill.
memory for that kind of stuff is not great.
No.
Yeah, but if you put me in a room, I'd be better off just comparing, I think.
Yeah.
Doing the crowd work that you see.
Yeah.
And that's not blowing my own trumpet, because I'm saying I couldn't be a stand-up comedian. I just love it though. I still remember the first couple of times that I got a laugh in high school, and it's just, I just do. That's how it started, I think.
And I think that a lot of that is probably, that's how what comes into your reels, isn't it? And your whole kind of personality, and your whole content is shaped on your kind of love of humour, really.
You know,
isn't
like
it?
some people come especially my older ones, when the video style was a little bit different. People would comment like "Int Milk Brilliant" or the Fast Show and stuff.
Yeah.
And like and I'm like, brilliant. Yeah. It reminds me of that. It is influenced by all that. It's just what I find funny.
Yeah.
I put out, and I spend time with funny people, like people like yourself, and I've got friends that are really funny people, and that's like what I like to spend my time with.
And I think we grew up in the same era. I think we were into the same comedy programs when we were younger, because I was like breastfed on like Bottom and Young Ones and like Father Ted. League of Gentlemen, Phoenix Nights, Little Britain for me was good.
So you could
Fast
reel
Show.
off all those.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. I mean,
No,
I
you couldn't do
know
it now.
some of
No.
it you probably couldn't put out now, right?
Yeah.
But it's different times for different. Remember, on a Friday night or whatever, like Shooting the Stars and the Fast Show and like TGI Friday.
Yeah.
And you just spend the whole night laughing.
Yeah.
And
It shaped
don't get
our
that as
humour,
much.
didn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, and.
I mean, my humour's pretty dark because of it, but like
And sometimes
that's how it is.
people will say like, "Oh, you can or you can't say this and stuff," but I can guarantee most people are in at least one WhatsApp group that there's that they wouldn't want sharing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Publicly,
Yeah.
right?
You'd get arrested, wouldn't you?
That's
Yeah,
just
or
life,
sacked.
I think.
Yeah, I
right?
think so.
And
I think you need that outlet.
and comedians should be allowed to be comedians, and everything else should be separate. Is like someone, yeah. But I can't remember what the question.
So the question was,
So I've
had
had
this
10
person's
minutes.
mum and dad seen you in
No,
real,
it wasn't real.
comedy?
It definitely wasn't real. I've been out on some nights out in real though, so they could definitely see me in real.
So there could have been a little bit of truth
Back in
there,
the day,
couldn't there?
yeah.
I do like these spotting Gary questions though. They are quite good, aren't
It
they?
always seems to be real at the minute though.
It does, isn't it? Or around that area, doesn't it? Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
It seems to be, yeah. I think there's an impersonator fairly close by.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, next question.
I know strength work is beneficial for running, but how often should I be doing it, and what are the best exercises for trail running?
Go on, Ben.
I mean, it is beneficial, isn't it? As much as I hate to admit it, I find it hard going to the gym, mate. I don't know about you, but I find it really hard. I'd rather if I've got an hour, I'm just going for a run. Or I'm going out with the dogs, and I put it off and I make all the excuses. But
I know what you mean.
I know you've got to do it. I mean,
Have you got to do it though?
I feel like you've got to do it.
I feel like people have to say that they've got to do it.
I feel like you've got to do some strength work though, don't you think? Because I do feel better, and I do feel the benefit when I do it consistently.
Yeah.
And I think when I look back and I was running at my best, I was in the gym 3 or 4 times a week. And I think that was the difference, if I'm totally honest. I mean, there are a few things. That's some of marginal gains, and I think that is one of the marginal gains if you're doing it consistently. I genuinely believe that. Best exercises to do. I mean, I'd guess any kind of like work on strengthening your legs, I'd think, and then core for me was the key, especially with the climbing. So I used to do a lot of core work, a lot of is it calisthenic?
Calisthenic.
Yeah, where you kind of working against your own body weight and.
Can't imagine you doing a flag on that.
I know, yeah, no, I never could. I tried. It was a comedy sketch just watching me in the gym, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I had a little gym routine that I used to do. It was easy for me when I was teaching because we had a gym next to the sports hall, and I'd just go after work almost every day. And I got in a really good routine, and I just did like half an hour, and I found that was when I was definitely running at my best. And then I'd actually go for a run afterwards as well. So I don't know the best exercises because I'm no expert, but I do genuinely think it massively helps if you can do it consistently. How often do you think you need to be doing it?
Twice a week.
Yeah. Do you do it now?
I've just recently, yeah. So that year out of injury or whatever, I was obviously doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Was very slow stuff. I literally had to work my foot again and get my foot used to walking again and all that stuff. So take all that aside, a bit like you, when I started this career and stuff, when I moved careers, I started out as a PT in gyms and stuff. So like you say, I found it easy to do, but a lot of it was I made a bit of a name for myself doing group stuff, but I would join in with the group. So I used to do kettlebell sessions. I used to do MetaFit, it's called, right? I used to love that stuff, which is all body weight stuff, but high rep, high intensity stuff. And I was teaching 3 or 4 of those classes a week, 2 or 3 kettlebell classes a week, and there was nothing of me. And I was running high volume, right?
You're super strong, but super
lean. And that's when I was getting my best results, just through coaching that stuff in the gym and thing. And then I went to a bit of more of an old school. It was a bodybuilding gym essentially. I learnt a lot there about movement and stuff, and Olympic lifting and all that kind of stuff. It was a different learning experience for me, and you're in a different group of people there. So I was doing bigger compound lifts and things like this, and then you come out of it, and yeah, I was strong, but then I went through probably because I was so focused on trying to get a business off the ground. I was running more, but didn't do the gym at all, if I'm honest. Because I left the gyms and ran it outside. And for 4 or 5 years, I didn't set foot in a gym. And then when I moved house, I got some bits in the garage and stuff. But I realised recently that I'm not doing any strength work really outside of my rehab stuff. Yeah. And I've got in the gym, I've got a power rack, I've got plates and stuff like this. I've got enough to get by. Because the kids are a bit old and stuff, it's just turned into a bike garage. So I've joined the gym. Me and Charlotte, we joined a gym. And the other thing, being here, the nearest gym is 30 minutes away.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
But I've joined the gym, and because you've joined the gym, and I said to Charlotte, I was like, look, let's not get the cheapest gym. Like it's not like we're rich, but there's a lot to be said to having a bit of skin in the game, I always say.
More of an incentive to go.
Yeah, it's like we're paying for this gym. She's going religiously 3 times a week. I've been going twice a week, and I feel better for it. Yeah, and we know it's good, not from a running point of view. My argument is this: like, obviously, I coach a lot of runners. Strength is always a hot topic these days, but I try and sell it to them as like, look, you want to be strong and healthy just for life, not for running. Which might sound a bit kind of...
No, it's more than running, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I want to be strong and fit and healthy when I'm 60, 70, 80. I want to be able to get out of my chair and stuff, which sounds far away, but yeah, I want to be healthy for that reason. So I'm going to the gym. That's my sell at the minute.
It's like an investment in the future, isn't it? It's
a little bit.
Good way to look at it.
Yeah, and we all want to... And let's be honest, we all want to look a little bit better in the mirror. I've gone through. There's pictures of me, and I'm way underweight from what I should be. But I was just so running focused. Yeah, and it's not like I did it on purpose. I was strong and everything, but I was definitely borderline kind of.
I think sometimes when you start seeing results and you're losing weight, you associate losing weight with better results, don't you? And it becomes to a point where it actually goes the other way, doesn't it? And it's just about having that balance.
A general rule in strength for me is, and because what I don't like is all this arguing online of like when people are throwing scientific papers left, right, and centre about what is optimal and stuff like this. Yeah, I've done it long enough and spent time with people that are way more kind of clued up on this in terms of strength and physios. If you do it once a week, you're probably going to keep what you get. Right, keep what you've got. If you do it twice a week and it's specific, then you're going to make progress. 3 times a week, fantastic. 4 times a week, now you're a hybrid.
Now you're high rocks.
CrossFitter.
yeah.
So you've gone too far, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, 30, 45 minutes twice a week if you get your routine down. I think going back to the question, because I will wrap it up, but just keep it simple. And what beginners are really bad at, especially in the gym, in terms of strength and in running, they want to mix things up. They feel satisfied by doing lots of different stuff. I see this in running sessions, but more so in the gym. So a lot of PTs make good money, and I saw it on the gym floor when I was doing it, by giving people lots of crazy exercises every single week. There's no real structure to it, but the people on the other end feel like they're doing good.
Yeah.
When in reality, they should pick a compound movement like a squat or a deadlift, a couple of single leg stuff and some core, but do that for 8 to 12 weeks minimum.
Yeah.
And progressively overload the weight. Yeah. 12 weeks minimum is a strength thing.
Definitely.
Right? And you're doing the same thing every week for those 2 sessions. Because that's boring, it's a harder sell to people, yeah? But the people that are getting results aren't doing something different every week.
No.
And different weights here all over the place. It's like the same principles apply now that did 20, 30 years ago. Stick to it, have patience, progressively overload. That's it, yeah? And then you get your sessions down to 30, 45 minutes. And then, I can do that.
Yeah. That's great advice, that, Gary. Yeah, you're getting a routine then. I think when you start seeing results and when you start feeling better, you probably get into it more, don't you? I think the hardest thing is probably just starting the routine, isn't it? And getting into it.
The thing is, once you start seeing a bit of, like for me, like when I remember getting on the running poles for the first time, and I was hammering running poles for this race in France, and my chest completely changed, and my arms, my shoulders got bigger, but my chest disappeared, and I haven't got much of a chest. And there was no body fat up here because of all the upper body stuff. So your body will change and adapt to stuff, especially as runners. What do we do upper body? I do upper body, hardly do any upper body, but if I do, it's a conscious effort, and I have to force myself. Just because I don't really want to look like that.
Yeah.
Scrawny runner when I'm 50 with no upper body strength, but I'm great at running. I do want to have a body that will be fit when you're older.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, good advice there, Gary. That was a good question as well.
Do either of you listen to your RUNcensored podcast?
I do. I don't think Gary does. But I do. More to sense check it and just because Chris puts them together. I don't always think Chris listens to him either, to be honest. Now he did in the early days. I think now he probably just used to kind of how to edit and put them out. But I do just because I like to know that the sound's good, because I listen to them on a run as well, and I think that's how most people digest them. So I think if I'm happy with how I listen to it, and if the sound's clear and it's something I enjoy listening to on a run, because I actually do forget sometimes what we've talked about as well.
100%.
I don't know about you, Gary. So I do for that purpose, and I don't really cringe when I listen, because I think it's quite funny.
Yeah,
is the answer for me.
The answer, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, and that's not because it's not through.
Probably a time, isn't it? For you?
A little bit, yeah. Like I spend a lot of time editing videos and stuff anyway, but if it's, I tell you, what I do like is, it's like you said, I think one came out the other week and I had no clue what we'd said, what the question were or anything. Yeah. And it was, I woke up and I had a rare morning where everyone had left the house early and I didn't have too much to do. I'm talking, it was still like 7:30, 7:45. So I just lied in bed for 45 minutes and listened to me in bed.
The sound of our voices.
But it was, and And I'll be honest, I thought that was a really good episode. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Even though it was me and Ben, I enjoyed it. I haven't listened to all of them. And sometimes if it's a guest, this is going to sound bad, but I don't always listen back because I can remember that conversation more.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm not offended, don't worry.
It's like Paul, I listened to bits of it, but I remember the conversation we had. It's like, I don't need to hear that again.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But some of them, I remember listening back to Ted's and Kay's, those two, because I was really interested in those two as people. But I don't always listen to it. No, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I tell you what happens now with me, because I've listened to it a lot, is that when I get in the car, it sometimes just comes on in the car as well, and then I don't change it. And I'll mix between that and TalkSport. So once I've done the episode, it's TalkSport for the other 6 days.
Funny enough, because like with Apple Play or whatever, sometimes I'll listen to a podcast or then I'll pick the kids up and then it'll come up on there. And Winter especially, like she's 9 now, she's like, "Oh, Dad, you're so embarrassing." What you kind of thing, because mine and your picture comes up, and she's like, "How do I get it onto Capital?" I'm like, "I'm not sat here on the school run listening to myself. I promise. It's just come on. It's just come up." Yeah, but
I do like listening to feedback as well from people, because not everybody comments, and I mean, we put these out and we don't really see, unless the odd person does mention something on Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah,
I just assume that there's about 20 people listening. But when people stop you in the shop or on the street, or I got stopped going to work the other day by a guy who said he'd just parked up, got out of his car and saw me. He was like, "I've just been listening to you on in the car," and it's quite nice. I quite like that.
No, it is good, and
so I'm glad people are.
And I get a lot of comments, like messages and stuff, so I would encourage you to do that more publicly. Because it helps our algorithms on YouTube and stuff.
that as well. Yeah, and it's nice to know, isn't it? It's nice to know that it's been well received, which I think it is so far. So yes is the answer to the question.
I'll end that question with both Chris and Ben are very good at listening. I'll give them their due, because I'm not as good at listening, so they listen to it and they pick up on stuff we need to change or whatever.
No, but in fairness to you, Gary, as well, you can. You're always podcast ready, aren't you? I probably have to do like the research and the bits around it, whereas you've got
talk
a skill
shit
to
with
just,
the best of them.
Yeah, you can talk shit. You can just turn up and talk shit at the flick of a switch. But no, it's all good.
Okay, final question this week. It's more about road running than trail running, but is it okay to wear carbon super shoes while training?
I got the piss taken out of me this week at work, because I think I mentioned on the last podcast or the one before, I've got these Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. I love them, Gary.
What are they like?
I love them. They're so cushioned.
Going back, before you do that, I know I've cut in, but going back to what we were talking about, those trainers, I've got the original Saucony carbon ones, and they were my favourite for a long time. Yeah, and I still run down the lanes in them.
Really?
Yeah, they've held up really well. I wouldn't run a race in them or anything.
No.
Just because like what we talk about, the foam's kind of gone and stuff. But
the dog walking / lawn motions.
Yeah,
now.
but I could, at the time I had a pair of them, and someone had given me a pair of Vaporflies that didn't fit them. And I could. This is when I was running fast enough to do sessions and stuff, and I was running better in the Sauconys and the Nikes. Weirdly, yeah.
Wow.
So I knew from a shoe point they weren't up there with them, and it just shows how much people suit different things. I think
so.
So they're still good, are they?
Oh, I mean, I've only just really started wearing them. I've probably done about 6 or 7 runs in them, and previously I've never worn Saucony road shoes, only Peregrines, which I think are a great trail shoe, just really good trail shoe. But I've almost like missed this whole super shoe road generation. I did used to race in the Mayfly when I was road running, and then I had just normal trainers, and then I've come in now to like just dipping into road running just for kind of lunchtime runs and whatnot. And I've tried these and I absolutely love them, and they're a massive game changer. And I know we've talked about carbon a lot, on previous episodes, but I love it so much I love these shoes so much that it makes me want to go out and run in them. And I actually do all my road runs now in carbon shoes. So, I mean, I don't think that's probably what you should be doing, and I don't think it long term, if you were doing it every day, I'm not sure, but it gets me out. And I think sometimes there's times where I probably would sack it off, or I wouldn't go and do that road run. But because I'm wearing those carbon shoes, I enjoy it more, and it makes me go out. So it's been a pleasurable experience, and I love it. Yeah.
I mean, there'll be people out there that are more... Like, I don't know I'm 100% up on the research, but let's call it anecdotally kind of thing. It's like, what is pushing the boundaries of some of these results? Is it solely the carbon shoe? Like, take the stuff that people shouldn't be doing out of the equation, right?
Yeah.
But is it the carbon shoe, or is it a bit of a mix of having carbon shoes and being able to use the carbon shoes more in their training so that they can do more volume, so they can do more intensity and stuff? Yeah. Is it a mixture of the both? So it's an interesting question, because I think the overall volume would matter. So let's take Ben, for example. Although he's doing all his road runs in this carbon shoe, that's probably still a small amount of your weekly running, right?
Yeah, and I'm conscious of that. That's why I do it. Yeah.
If you're a marathon runner doing 120 miles a week and every single step is in a carbon shoe, I'd probably be a little bit more worried about that.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you're a trail runner and you're doing all your road running in your carbon shoes, and that's 2 or 3 sessions a week, I don't see a problem with that.
No.
If anything, that's probably a benefit.
Exactly.
That's just me thinking as a coach and thinking logically. If it was me, I'd be doing that. If I could afford to wear a carbon shoe every single session on the road, I would.
Why not?
Yeah.
Life's a living, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, you wouldn't just drink on a weekend, would you? You might as well drink midweek as well, aren't you? That's how I look at it. Enjoy it every day.
What are the downsides of that?
I mean, some people, if you are big into road running, they won't wear the carbon shoes every day because they want to feel the benefit when they come to a race, and they want that kind of special feeling when they're on race day. I suppose you just get desensitized to wearing carbon otherwise, don't you? And it's the foam as much as the carbon plate as well, isn't it? We know that.
I listened to the Science and Sport podcast recently, which is a great podcast, and they were talking about someone, I don't know who it was, someone had done an April Fool's where they were going to do a race series, like 5Ks, 10Ks, where you had to wear like non-carbon shoes, like the old school shoes.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how it would be, imagine if you could get the current athletes now to do a season or two in them, it would be good, wouldn't it?
Be really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
There's a sports shoes series there.
I think so. Yeah, that's a good idea, that, Gary. Yeah. Thanks for that. Keep me in a job for another few months.
Yeah.
No, good question. That's the end of this week's episode. It's been a good episode, that has. I just realised as well, this is the first time we're both wearing shorts, so it's a sign of the times
the summer's coming. I did have a look at the legs there, yeah. Oh, hello.
The dogs are in now. We've managed to do that episode with the dogs outside, and they're just coming in for the finale because they're absolutely nuts today. By the way, Chris, when you do watch and edit this, you'll notice that I brought a blanket in to put over your sofa just in case they jump up. That's why I'm letting them on the sofa. So don't hate me in the comments. Don't come at me on the texts. But yeah, they've been playing in the garden. So without further ado, Gary, we'll call it the end of this week's episode, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday, mate.
Good questions.
Job done.
Yeah.
Happy days.
How long was that, Ben? About an hour?